And we are recording because I clicked record. We are recording.
God,
Well, I didn't
I'm
make
so
Pat
tired.
laugh, but I made Pat like shimmy his head. Yes. Good morning, everybody. It is
Is to
May.
like the shimmy.
It is May 18th. Wow, it's May. It's past the halfway mark of May already. Jesus Christ. That is crazy. And in less than 2 weeks, I'm going to turn a certain age and I will begin my slow meltdown because then at that point, I will be 2 years removed from the big 5-0.
Nice.
I'll just have a meltdown. It's okay. You will see a new me after the end of the May. I'm gonna have a mental breakdown for the next 2 years, just to let everybody know. That's what's gonna happen.
So I'm gonna say this. So my son
Uh-oh.
plays with these two other boys in our neighborhood.
Yes.
The one I like, the one not so much. The one I don't like so much.
It's on the
Doesn't
trampoline
matter.
right now.
Yeah, doesn't matter what the other two do. The only thing he does is run up and play on our trampoline. It's highly annoying
Boingy, boingy, boingy.
because it's like Lucas will go down and knock on the door and say, "Hey guys, you want to play?" And all that kid does is run away and jump on a trampoline like it's his own damn trampoline.
He is excited to be asked to play so he can jump as high as he can.
Yeah. Like the other two are out in the backyard doing whatever. He's up here by himself yelling at them and jumping on the trampoline because he wants their attention, but they don't want to always jump on the trampoline. 24 fucking 7. Like give the trampoline a rest.
Oh,
Okay.
so funny.
So, all right. Well, I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna close that door so it's not so loud because I didn't know that the microphone would pick up as it's
That's
bouncing
why
up and
I
down.
asked. I can hear the springs or whatever from the trampoline.
I'll be right back.
After these messages. Thank you. Too much. That's funny. The kid just wants to jump. Now I have that song Jump Around in my head.
Ding,
God,
ding,
how things
ding,
transition to
ding,
stuff.
ding, 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 ding. Oh, I was doing Jump by Van Halen.
I know you were. I caught on. I caught on after a couple tunes into that. I got
I
it.
get up.
Oh, let's see. So your name today, Sir Pat, is Why Do Fools Have to, exist? Well, that is a good question. Why do fools have to exist? That's what they bring to the table. Stress.
A better question is, why do fools fall in love?
Well, yeah, I mean, I was obviously what I have up there is a play on that. Not a very good one, but
Why do fools fall in love? Hmm, that's a good question as well.
why do fools think that there's such a thing as a free $400 million jet?
Um,
Ooh. I think my favorite thing about fools is the ones that watch these people on Instagram, TikTok, whatever, and see them in these private jets and think that they're actually have enough money to be in them when they're really just renting them for photo shoots so they can look like they have millions of dollars. I didn't realize that was a thing until I saw an exposure like
oh
piece
yeah.
on some of these people that do that. They're like, yeah, these people aren't worth the money that they say they are. They are taking photo shoots.
No,
Like,
it's something that's been true for a
what?
long time. It's not so much about being wealthy as making it look like you are.
Yeah.
Yes. No. It's the world that we live in. Well, I shouldn't say money rules the world, but money definitely influences people to make
Money
silly
rules the world.
decisions.
No, listen, do some of those people, so do some of those people portraying to be rich, could afford some of those jets? Probably, but some of them probably can't. And it's a rental business, just like the luxury cars. You go to Vegas, there's a couple of luxury car rentals there. You can hop in a Bugatti if you want to, and you can make it seem like it's yours.
Yeah.
That's what influencers do as well. There's many of those car rental places across the United States. Same thing with jets. Same goddamn thing, you know.
Well, yeah. There's uh, a company. I haven't seen any of their TikToks or anything like that in a while. But Amalfi Jets, and they rent luxury jets out for people to fly, all over the world. That's a rental company for luxury jets. Depending on where you want to fly, it's like the cheapest flight that, at least what they were not advertising, but showing on their social media page, was like $30,000 for a round trip flight, and that's like on a smaller, you know,
Mm,
private jet. Some of these flights were, you know, half like what was the one, like $200,000 to fly from like LA to somewhere over in Europe, on
mhm.
like a G6 plane. I'm like, yeah, that's just to rent it.
Yeah, I mean, there's
Couldn't even
ones in
imagine the cost to buy one of those and then see, and that's the thing. Like people that buy them, they also have to pay a flight crew because you have to have a crew to fly the
mm,
plane. You have to pay for the gas to fill it. You have to pay for the
the, s-
maintenance on the plane. Like there's
the
millions of
storage.
dollars it costs, the storage for it. Like there's just millions upon millions of dollars it costs. So the only people that actually own their own private jets are people that are billionaires. Those people have enough money to own their jets. Not
Yeah,
multimillionaires, billionaires.
I think it could be the high-end multimillionaires to do it. Depends on what type of plane you get and stuff like that. But yeah,
Yeah, maybe the people, yeah, that are 200, $300 million.
yeah, those guys could do it for sure. Sure, absolutely. God, this safety car is still out. Um,
Uh-oh,
but
there was a major accident in the Formula One race.
no, someone's car
Oh.
broke down.
I'm having engine problems, sir.
Yeah, pretty much. I think that's what one of the things. Yeah, he just pulled over to the side of the grass, and they just towed the car away now. They're still in caution.
So, for any
But
of our viewers that are wondering, yes, Darth Pat does have Home Depot boxes in his living room, bedroom, wherever he is recording from.
Office.
Office. Oh, I like that too. I like offices.
Technically,
um,
this is a bedroom, but it's never been used as such since I have been here.
that's because our good friend Darth Pat is moving. He is
to Egypt.
dece- teach.
I'm going
He's
on a spiritual journey to find myself.
he's gonna go into the pyramid. He's gonna climb the pyramids.
Going to a fucking
He's going to go to
goddamn.
Iceland to submerge himself into the Blue Lagoon.
Ooh.
I'm going to engage on a plan, if you will, to see if I can live with somebody else and not have us kill each other.
Murder she wrote. Da-da-da-da-da-da, murder she wrote.
Basically,
So,
yeah.
Oh my God.
um, but yes, Darth Pat is moving. So sometime in June he'll be filming from a new location.
Maybe,
Be prepared. Or maybe he'll
maybe.
go out. He'll go outside and film outside in
There
nature.
might be
He'll go.
rainbows and unicorns in the background.
No.
No.
When
But
I say maybe as far as filming in June, that's assuming that I'm able to, like, once I move and be able to film during June. That's still slightly up in the air.
All right. Well, maybe we'll see him in July.
Yes.
So big news. My wife and I, of course, are celebrated already our 15-year anniversary. So
oh
we've been married
yes.
for 15 years. So is Joseph. Joseph has been married for 15 years. His Your anniversary came up, is already gone by too. Yes,
Yep. Beginning
because
of
yours
May.
was slightly after ours. But we didn't do anything for our 15th year anniversary. We were supposed to. Of course, other things came up and we spent money more money than what we expected to spend in these other areas that we already had planned. So our big plan to go somewhere and did not happen. It's not going to happen like we wanted to because there's other things we want to spend our money on too. So we decided we definitely wanted to go to a concert and we wanted to pay. Well, we knew we were going to pay big money to go see a concert.
Any concert you go to anymore these days, you're paying some money.
So one of the artists that we've been wanting to go see is Eric Church. And we didn't see him before he got big. And he hasn't toured in a while because he hasn't put any new, not that he hasn't put new music out, he just hasn't put a full-length album out in a while. Finally dropped a new album. He's going back on a tour. We're going to see him. We bought tickets yesterday.
Cool. Where's he? Where are you gonna go see him at? Was he
Wells
playing at?
Fargo Center down in Philly. Good old Philly.
Ah, good.
No, but we got close seats. And they weren't super expensive considering what we paid for another concert that we went to. We got floor seats, center section,
Okay.
second section back from the pit. So
Okay.
relatively close.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
because I'm sure those rows, I'm sure probably go A through P, something like that, A through R, A through S. They usually don't go all the way up to Z when you're on the floor. They're
Yeah.
usually the shorter length alphabet. So
No, they
not
are.
like when you're in the 100 section. It's like A through double M. Yeah, so we're on the floor. We're 6 rows back in that section on the end. So we got pretty damn good seats, and they were only $200.
Oh wow, that's
So
actually
I'll
pretty
take
good.
that for floor seats. Considering what we paid to go see Luke Combs was that plus,
Yeah, that
So
I can imagine that was definitely way.
yeah. And that was
That's a bit more expensive.
now granted we were a little bit closer for Luke Combs. We were the first section behind the pit for his concert. His
Yeah.
pit was quite big though, but it was still like we paid. I don't remember the exact number, but it was somewhere close to about $700 for 2 tickets.
Oof. Yeah,
And we paid a little more than that for 4 tickets because another couple's coming with us. So,
gotcha.
so yeah, and that included the fees too. The fees were so Ticketmaster has done something. I'm going to give Ticketmaster props. I would not normally give Ticketmaster props in this, but I'm going to. So you know how back in the day you used to go on there and be like, "Oh, sweet, $76 tickets," and then you get through all the fees and stuff like that, and it'd be like $140. Be like, motherfucker. So Ticketmaster, instead of just saying here's your fee charges, they just give you the ticket price, and the ticket price is with the fees.
Yeah,
So instead of like tricking you into like these cheap tickets, they already just tell you right ahead, this is the full price of the ticket. And then when you get to the receipt part where they break it down a little bit, now they show you what the price of the ticket is, what your fee charge was, and stuff like that. I was like, that makes me feel a lot better because now don't feel like I don't feel like I'm being
Scammed?
hornswoggled.
yeah. I believe there was some legislature that was forcing Ticketmaster and Ticketstub to show the fees up front instead of waiting till the end. That was passed through Congress and the Senate, I believe, within the past 6-7 months, because that was one of the things where people were really getting pissed off about as far as the ticket prices were concerned. So it's good. So that looks like that's they're finally doing it, which they should, because it's a little bit like when you get an email, like I'm just use wrestling, get an email. Oh, tickets as low as $25. $25 plus fees. Yep, $75 tickets. So it's kind of
Yeah,
like, yeah, it's not what it's
because
all
we all know,
cracked up to be.
because nobody, no consumer anymore at this point in time. I will say most most consumers. Sorry, my trampoline is going nuts. I might have to kick kids off because they're not supposed to roughhouse on the trampoline. Um, I don't allow wrestling on it because kids have done stupid stuff and hurt each other, and they slam into the net. And I'm not having that net break on that expensive ass trampoline. Um,
Nope,
but
definitely
sorry, angry dad moment.
not.
Um,
Goddamn kids.
where the hell was I going with this? Shit, I lost my train of thought. Damn it.
Kids fuck up shit all the time. It's okay. I get it.
But yeah, it's oh yeah, nobody's. I don't think any consumer at this point in time doesn't realize that there's fees. It's just if I know I got to pay fees, just put that in just put it in the ticket price right away. Show me what the true ticket price is. You don't have to tell me about the fees. I know they're there. You don't have to surprise me with them anymore. Just tell me the price of the ticket. So I'm glad that Ticketmaster has done that. And if any other, ticket vendor has to do that right up front, good, because that's important. Because that's the other thing, like even Hertz too, Hertz Rental Car, when they gave me the price, it included all the fees. Like this is your price including all your fees. And then when they sent me the receipt, it showed how those fees broke down, which rental car, like take a look at your rental car bill one time and see the 10 fees that are on there. I'm like, this is
Oh,
stupid.
I
It's
know.
like
It's hilarious.
transaction fee, this fee, that fee, this fee, this fee. I'm like,
It's fucking
dude,
it's
like
hilarious.
what the hell are they charging me? Like it's like I gotta pay these fees that make absolutely no sense at all.
No.
Like I'm paying
So
for
it's
the
funny.
dumbest stuff.
It's funny. Like some of the car rental places I like because you have two options on there. You can do a couple options. So, like as far as the fees concerned, like budget has a thing where when you go on their website, you select your time, date, all that stuff where you're going to pick it up at, and you see a price, but there's like a little button you can click on a button and it adds the actual fees. So then like what it's going to cost for that amount of days with the fees. And it gives you a breakdown on the website. But it's so silly. It's so ridiculous. Like all these fees for the rental. There's like a tax for this, a tax for that. And then there's all these crazy like individual fees that they charge just to rent a car. And then it's always funny. They're like, well, you should get the insurance with us in case you get into an accident, because a lot of car insurances don't cover rental cars, right? And it's like, you look at it, and some places charge like $30 a day just for the like their insurance, so you don't have to worry about it. But like $30 a day, say you need the car for 7 days, that's $30 times seven. Like that's an extra
Mhm.
hundred some odd dollars that you're paying for the rental car on top of what that stuff is. So people
I always
don't.
decline the insurance. Reason being is
Same,
because
same here.
I did find out one thing that's important that my insurance company told me, but my insurance company covers, and most insurance company covers, if you get in an accident in a rental car, they'll cover the collision comprehensive on it,
Yep,
minus your deductibles.
yep.
But there is one thing that they mentioned, which is like I forget what the charge they called it, but it's almost like a usage charge where for every day that that car is out of commission while the rental company gets it fixed, they charge you a fee for them not being able to rent it out.
Hmm.
So like some credit cards have that built in. So if you use a credit card that has that built in, like that coverage, your credit card company will cover that for you.
Gotcha,
So
gotcha.
I found that very interesting. Of course, the credit card that we put it on does not have that. Luckily, I did not get in an accident. So, but yeah, so I'm looking at my Hertz rental. The cost of the vehicle was only $384. Not bad. There was a concession fee recovery.
Oh yeah, that's
There,
such bullshit. Concession fee
I'm like,
recovery.
what the hell is that? I don't even know what the hell that means. Vehicle license fee. What license for the vehicle? I have a driver's license. Why are you charging me a license fee for the vehicle? I don't even know what you're talking about. A customer facility charge. What facility? I have it on the road and you're not storing it for me. A motor vehicle lease tax. So this must be a tax that they pass on to you for them being able to rent cars in the state of Florida or whatever they're renting them.
Yeah.
Uh, and then taxes. Florida has 7% tax on stuff. So, at least on that. So, yeah.
I believe that's right for overall those 4 days, 7%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Crazy,
yeah,
isn't it?
overall the taxes took it up another 100 and about $50 roughly. So,
Yeah.
I was like, ain't that something?
Yeah. It's like I have USAA for my car insurance.
Ooh, because
Am
your
I
dad was in the military, right?
correct? Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
nice. Gronk, you got the Gronk promoted insurance. USSA. Can I get in that? Are you a veteran? No. Are you the family member of a veteran? No. Well then, sorry, Gronk.
Those commercials always make me laugh, to be honest with you. Yes, yes. My dad was in the military, he was in the army, went to Vietnam, all that stuff. So we started utilizing, and it was funny because my dad knew about USAA, but he never utilized it. He didn't start using it until like in the 70s. And I kind of convinced him to do it. I'm like, dude, why don't you do this? So we went through it and they actually saved money with the car insurance. Owned their house, they saved money with their house insurance. When they moved down to North Carolina, they saved more money with the car insurance and they used their renter's insurance through there. So I started using it. So I have renter's insurance, um, car insurance, and personal property insurance as well. They do. And we use PNC Bank, but I'm going to start converting our bank accounts over to USAA as well. Like legitimately, their customer service is like probably the best customer service in the country. Like they are on top of everything. They're super nice. They're super helpful. If they screw up, they admit to it and they fix it for you. Um, what was it last year? God, I can't remember how many when I got into the car accident. They helped me through everything with the car accident. The
I'll be right
claim,
back.
yep, the claim I did with the car and how all that played out. So they were really good. So they really are an excellent company to be with. So probably I moved my bank account information over there. But back to the rental car stuff. Yeah, I called them as like, hey, if I get into an accident or a fender bender with a rental car, and they're like, yep, we'll help you take care of it, not a problem. So that's why I'm like, I'm not gonna even bother. I declined the insurance through the rentals as well. And it's funny, the last time I rented a car, they were like, are you sure? A lot of places don't do this. Da, 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 da. And I had to listen to this lady give me a spiel for like 3 minutes. And I'm like, um, I'm good. And she's like, who's your car insurance? I'm like, USAA. She goes, oh, okay then. She goes, any other add-on features you want to do? You need Sirius XM radio or a satellite? I'm like, nope, that's what my cell phone's for. Does the car have Bluetooth? Yes. Well, I'm good. I can Bluetooth all my music. I don't care. I mean, they're doing their job, but I mean, it's just funny,
Yeah, they have to do that shit.
Yeah, but you just look, so like for instance, another thing to do, I like some of the car rental, not all of them do this, but some of them, they give you, and it's kind of like, um, dual pricing, where they give you a price if you want to prepay for it up front or if you want to wait to pay for it until after your trip is over using the car or after your rental. And if you prepay up front, it's cheaper. So that's what I did last time, and that's what I did currently. Because when we go to Florida for the esports tournament, we're not driving our cars. We rented a car. We're gonna rent a vehicle to drive down to Florida, um, and use somebody else's car. Budgets to drive down to Florida. So yeah, and I paid for that up front, and it was probably the best thing to do was pay for up front. I got paying up front compared to if I would have rented the vehicle and paid for it at the end of the rental time frame. I would have paid an extra $140. So I had to save the $140 by prepaying for it.
Yeah,
So
that's what we did too, prepaid for it.
it's just so much, it's just easier. And I like the options how they do that. Not all the car rentals do that yet. I only know a couple of them, but I use budget again for the rental for Florida. So, it's paid for already. So I just go in there and I got to give them the card I used so they can put a hold on it, just to, whatever they do for the hold, while I have the card until I return it and
Mhm.
all that jazz. But, whatever. I could care less.
Yeah, that was the one funny thing. They're like, "Do you have a credit card to put a $200 deposit on?" I'm like,
Yeah.
"What?"
Mhm.
Like, I'm just thinking to myself. I didn't question. I was just like, in my head, I questioned. I'm like, I already paid for the entire vehicle. What the hell is this deposit for? I'm like, yeah, I got that. And I'm like, okay. I mean, I got of course, the deposit. They didn't need deposit, but I'm just like, huh, interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Yeah, they did it to me the last time I rented it. I was like, I'm like, yeah, here. I was just kind of like, and then when I returned it, like 2 days later, it was the pending authorization on my card was gone. So, you know, no big deal. It is what
Yeah.
it is. Speaking of esports,
Ooh,
speaking of
esports.
esports, speaking of
Yeah.
this, I had one team that already qualified for the national finals to go to Florida. The
Ooh.
past 2 weekends, my second team, it was their last chance to qualify for
Last
NAF, as
chance.
we call it. After week one, that was last weekend, out of 33 teams, they have to come in the top eight. They finished fourth in points.
Ooh.
Yesterday, they needed to be consistent to stay in the top eight. They had three great consistent games. They ended up with 272 points for the total for both weekends, and they moved up to third place, so they qualified for NAF. So I have two teams going to NAF in Florida at the towards the end of July. So I was super proud of them and happy that they were able to accomplish it. They're a good team. They're just very inconsistent, and
Hmm.
uh, yeah, overall, they're just a very inconsistent team at times. They're good, but they're just inconsistent, you know. And they have some other things they have to work on, but inconsistency is really the biggest part of that. So, yeah, they played well. All three games. The second game was probably their worst, but they had a, a fifth place finish and a 14th place finish. And then the last game, they came in second place. So they did really well. So I was proud of them. So we have two teams going down for a fortnight. So just in 2 weeks, we'll get ready for the summer season and get them squared away to get both teams ready to go down to Florida in July, which, to be honest with you, it's May 18th as we're recording this show. Um, June's right around the corner, and July will be here like at the snap of a finger, to be honest. So yeah, it's uh it's one of those things. It's every year seems to go faster, to be honest with you, no matter what.
Yes. Very true. Yes, it does.
Especially when you have kids. Like my son's gonna be, he only has a couple of weeks of school left, really. Um, and his sophomore year will be over. He'll be going on to his junior year. It's feels weird. It just feels weird. It still feels weird that I have a kid that's in high school. You know what I mean? He's finishing his sophomore year, going to be in his junior year. He's going to be graduating high school soon. That's just
Just
mind-boggling in
just wait
itself.
until he tells you, Dad, I'm getting married.
Oh,
Ah!
I'll probably
That's
fall
our
over.
that's our phase now.
I think his mother will be more affected by that than me, but
Yeah, she'll be like, my baby's getting married. Maybe not like that.
let me tell you,
Sound
she is going to be a stickler for any female that he dates. It's going to be hilarious.
Oh, I'm sure. Knowing your wife is calm and collective as she is, as nice as she is, I can only imagine her wanting the best for her son. Got to live up to certain expectations to date my son.
Listen, and it's funny. She always says this to me. She's like, "Listen, I know the history of you dating crazy girls. I'm just hoping that doesn't rub off on your son." And I'm like, "It just might." She's like, "That's what I'm afraid of." And I was like, hopefully not. Hopefully he doesn't find all the crazies like I did. But shit happens.
Well, it was funny. I'll never forget this. The one time I was talking with Marlon, and Marlon, we were talking about wives, and
Oh Christ.
he's like, Jeremy, he's like, I don't know your wife, but I know Joe's wife. He's like, is your wife a ghetto wife? I'm like, no. He's like, oh, cause Joe's wife and my wife are ghetto wives. I'm like, okay, I've met your wife, met Joe's wife. I guess I could see that.
Oh, it's too funny. He's so funny
And
with
I
that
and I
shit.
was never 100% sure what he meant by a ghetto. I think that's the term that he used. I think I want to because just knowing Marlon, I can see him. I swear, I'm pretty sure I remember that's how he put it, but just the attitude and
It's probably exactly the way he said it.
because of the attitude and stuff like that,
Mhm.
that you know that
They will
that
flip a switch and start swinging if
yes,
need be,
yes, and I'm like, yeah, no, that's not my wife. My wife does not have the ghetto attitude.
and defend whoever they need to, pretty much.
Yes. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
very
It's
much
funny.
so.
I'm going to be seeing him
Oh,
um
nice.
shortly, the end of this month. Actually, oh, it's the 18th
Oh,
in
is he
two
coming
weeks.
down to South Carolina for his rental for his unit, spending some time down there?
Yep, yep. I'll be going down there on the 30th and hanging out with him. I think there's a tournament he might be reffing. I think he's reffing. He's
That
trying to
wouldn't
get
surprise
into.
me.
But reffing a tournament, he's reffing down there. So yeah, going down to the condo, hanging out, go watching basketball, whatever the case may be. But yeah, so it'd be cool. Eat some soul food, get fat, eat some good
Yeah.
stuff that'll make me fat.
Yes. Speaking of basketball, there, as I was telling you guys before, there's been a lot of changes up here as far as like changing of the guard and coaches leaving and new coaches coming in and stuff like
Mm,
that.
yes.
And wasn't sure if I was going. I still haven't really. I have not found a place to hang my hat yet as far as coaching. I thought I might have. I went to one school, kind of went there to see how things operate and stuff like that. And you'll understand this, Joe, when I say this. Like when I left, there was I didn't have that excitement about like, ooh, I can't wait to go back there and get it, start working with these kids and stuff like that. There's just something off when I left. Like it wasn't the coaches, it wasn't the kids themselves. It was just something about the atmosphere, that, just had this gut feeling like this is not
Yeah.
where I think I'm supposed to be. So
Yeah, I get it.
yeah. When I said that to Marlon, he's like, I'm right there with you, man. So I couldn't. My wife didn't understand. She's like, I don't know what you mean by that, but as long as I want you to be happy. I'm like, okay, that's all that matters. You have to understand it. So
It's that whole like when you walk into a situation, it's the vibe, it's the aura you get from the building itself, the people you talk to, what you see, how people act, how people react. And it's one of those things where it's either going to hit you in a positive way or it's going to hit you where it's really negative, or if you're on the fence, it's probably not it either.
yeah, I think the thing that kind of was odd, to me is like I know I was really only there to observe because I was not take I we didn't talk about, hey, before you come in, do you really want to, let's get you on the books. And, it wasn't like one of those situations like with my previous school that I was with. I was already going to be part of the coaching staff. I was really kind of going there to see, do I want to be part of this program? So I understand the different scenarios,
Yeah.
but I only had one kid come up and introduce themselves to me. And I think that kind of threw me off. Like, hey, there's this guy standing here. Um, and we don't know who he is. Maybe I should go introduce myself. And it wasn't until the very end that the head coach introduced me to the group. So it wasn't like so I guess that kind of threw me off, and I'm just like, okay. Like I said, it wasn't a bad experience. It wasn't bad by any means. I really like their head coach. I think he's a nice, cool guy, young guy too. He's only like 26, so he's
Hmm,
very young.
okay.
Uh, and he does a great job with those kids. But I think it was a combination of that, the location. Not that it was super far away, just location. I was just like, man, do I really want to drive up this mountain 6 days a week? Like, just drive. Not that it's a bad drive, but it kind of sucks. I don't like driving up this mountain. Like, that's not fun. My previous drive was all highway. A little bit of a little bit of going through town, but mostly highway.
Yeah,
So I was
yeah, I
just like
understand.
that. Even though that drive was longer, I enjoyed that drive more. Just because it wasn't okay, turn here, turn here. Like you can't go straight up the mountain. The way that the town is set up, you gotta go this way a little bit, turn left, go this way a little bit, turn right, go up, go up. Okay, turn left, turn right, and now you're at the top of the hill. A
Yeah, I
straight
think I
shot.
know. I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you've probably been there. Um,
That area is special.
yeah. So, and the one school that I've been trying to get into that I can't seem to get into, I can't even get anybody to really talk to me in that school, which just tells me that school don't fucking want me. They want nothing to do with me. Um, they appointed a new head coach. I saw that, and I got a contact number for him, and I've never been ghosted by anybody before, at least not when you first send them a message. I was ghosted instantly. Like no reply message saying, "Hey, thanks for reaching out. You know, can't do anything, not hiring any coaches at this time. I'll keep your information on file, when the opportunity comes around to hire by a
Nothing.
staff, nothing.
Just
Just I'm like, "Okay, gotcha."
you're a nobody to me. God damn it.
And it's funny because the person that they hired, and it's nothing personal against against this person, but he's been there for the last two coaching staff, like coaching regimes, and
Okay.
neither one lasted one. One was 3 years, one was 2 years. So he's been there at least 5 years. He might have been with the previous coach for a couple years too, but he's always been the assistant, usually the JV head coach, from what I've seen, and that program with his assistants there has not ever gotten. I shouldn't say got. It hasn't gotten better. It just hasn't gotten to a point where they're completely competitive,
Hmm.
you know. And so it's just it's just one of those things where it's like you're hiring somebody that has been part of your program but not has not really helped that program get to a point where they're competitive on a consistent basis. They're competitive against the teams in the league that are their level. They haven't raised their level of competition. It's you know,
They're
like
pretty stagnant at where they're at. They're not.
yeah.
They're not.
And it's like they're
They're not
happy with that.
elevating anything. They're pretty much staying even keel with whatever they're doing.
Yeah, and it's like,
Nothing's
okay, you're
progressing.
happy. Like you're happy with that? Like I don't know as a AD that I would be happy with continuing to just bring people in that cannot elevate the level of play of an organization. And not to say that I will never say I'm the best candidate for any position, but it's like you should probably try something different. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
but Marlon has
it's
also always told me, and I'm finding out more and more, schools already know who they want.
they usually do.
So it's even though they have to open the positions up to the public to allow people to apply for them, unless they get some random star candidate that they're just like, damn it, he's got that stick again.
It's pretty much they know who they want. It's just a quota that they have to fill to do the interviews. It's usually always the head coach. Now, once the head coach is in play, it's going to be a matter of does that head coach have the staff he wants for his assistant coach, his JV coach, his freshman coach? That's where that comes into
Yeah,
place. A lot of them do, for the most part, know who the JV and freshman coach are going to be or assistant, but some of them will kind of like have half their staff in mind, and the other half they're kind of they'll be looking for somebody for the most part. So it's going to be one of those type of situations.
yeah. So the young man that always jumps on our trampoline, I dismantled this like stick, that thing that he had, because he had a piece of like metal tubing on it. So I
Yeah,
dismantled it and I put the stick in my garbage. This kid has taken that stick out of my garbage 3 different times.
It's
I just saw him with it.
it's probably not really garbage.
Well, it's
You
in a
know, just
garbage
just because
can.
it's sitting in a garbage can.
fucking
I,
Pat.
and I've told him already. I said, don't go through my garbage cans and pick this stick up. I'm throwing it away. Because these, don't get me wrong, we played with sticks, okay? And we threw stones. I could get it. They're kids.
We're
But
cavemen back in the day.
I also, this young man has anger issues. And you see it come out. And it's screaming and yelling at the top of his lungs at every kid at times. All I need him to do is have a weapon in his hand and start swinging the damn thing. So I took it away on purpose because I don't want that to happen.
You got a point.
And this
100%.
stinking kid keeps on going in my garbage can and taking this damn stick out. I'm like, God darn it.
Boy, I'm about to whoop your butt.
And it stinks. Like, I do feel bad for these kids because they did lose their mother a couple years ago. Like,
Oh,
she just passed away in the middle of the day. Like, it was the weirdest thing. And of course, I got to see her
jeez. That's
dead, lifeless body. Like, I didn't plan on ever seeing a dead body unless it was like one of my relatives that I was taking care of or something crazy like that. But yeah, their dad came up like panic stricken. He's like asked me to come down and make sure that she was really dead. I'm like, why did okay?
wow. Could you call 911, please? I know
Yeah, that was the first question I did ask him.
it, granted, it's a weird moment, it's a weird situation. Like what did she pass away from? What happened with that?
Yeah, I don't think they ever did an autopsy to like determine what her reason of passing was.
It makes no sense. They
Yeah,
do an
I mean maybe they
autopsy.
did and he never told me. He loves to tell me everything, so I feel like he would have told me why she passed away. But
Oof.
like
That's
when I went up there, like when I went up, this is the weirdest thing. Like I'm glad it's not a memory that haunts me. It doesn't freak me out or anything like that. Some people like see kinds of things like that and they're like, I'm traumatized for life. Um,
yeah, dude.
um, but you know how they always say like blood starts to fall to the bottom of the like wherever the person is, you can start to see like the kind of the blood as the body settles and like
Hmm.
because of circulation stuff. Yeah, she had been dead for a while
Was there
because you could see like
was stuff turning blue and stuff like that? Or
yeah, like
purplish?
yeah, and you can kind of see her body's like the blood
Mm,
settling on her
yeah,
parts where it was flat, like the parts that weren't up in the air, further up
yeah.
in the air,
I get
however
what
they
you're
want to put
saying.
it. But I'm just like, okay, dude, like you probably should have checked on your wife a little bit more often. Like this is just weird. Why am I here?
Oh, it's
And of course,
I have to ask questions now. Like where was she?
she was in their bed. She went up. The story that he gave me is that she had not been feeling well for days, and that day she was feeling a little bit more tired, so she was up in bed and she was just sleeping it off. The last thing he remembers him hearing from her, she got up, went to the bathroom, and went and laid back down. And then he went up to check on her a couple hours later, and she was not alive.
Oh God. Okay. Um, wow.
I mean,
Not sure what to say about that. That's yeah, dude, that's crazy.
yeah, and I mean,
I
I never heard them fight. I'm sure they did. Um, and I don't think he did anything to her, but she definitely was not somebody who was in the best of health. And they both smoke super heavy. And she
mm,
was and not old. She was only in her 30s, and that's the kind of crazy thing. Yeah, she was only like
wow.
36 or something like that, somewhere around there.
Holy shit.
But she was definitely heavy, very heavy, and smoked. Um, Two factors that do not help. And she had just recently had cancer. Was it cancer removed from her forehead? Yeah, yeah, cancer removed from her forehead. They found a cancerous spot on her skin on her forehead that they had removed. So maybe that played a factor in it too. I don't know. Like I said, it was a weird moment in my life
Whew.
to see a dead body.
Um, yeah, dude, that's wow. Okay. Yeah, that's
So, so just to kind
wow.
of summarize, that's
Okay.
I feel bad for those kids because of what they've experienced. Like, but
Yes.
the very odd thing about those two kids is even though they experienced it, neither of them cried. They were outside playing the next day like nothing freaking happened.
Really?
Yes. And the odd thing about it is like they have only mentioned at one or two times like, yeah, my mom died. She's up in heaven now. Like even that day, like because when they finally sent them because they were up at our house forever while the police and ambulance and stuff like that were cleaning up the mess because the dad didn't want him down there, and that makes perfect sense. You
Of
don't need to
course,
be
of course.
traumatized by that. Um, but even afterwards, I don't remember like when we sent that. I don't remember ever hearing like screams. Like you would think like a kid. Like I remember when my one grandmother died. I remember screaming, "Why? Why did she take it?" Like I was emotionally upset. I don't remember ever hearing that come from their house. I'm like, did these kids like have like are what are those people that show no emotion? Um, there's this medical term for it, not psychopath. They're
No, I know what you're talking about.
yeah, but like, do these kids lack the ability to show emotion? Like that, it was weird. Like I said, the whole situation was weird, but
It might be an experience for them that they might not really realize until they get older. You know what I mean? Like in
yeah,
their well into their teenage years about
yeah. I mean,
what happened to
the
their mom.
youngest one, I think he was in kindergarten. He's now in third grade, so he was only what 5 when that happened.
Yeah, so his
So it doesn't make
emotional.
sense to him. But the older one, he's in fourth grade now, but he's supposed to be in fifth. I found out. So he was in first grade, but he would have been in second grade. So he's a little bit. He should understand. But
A little bit more, yeah, yeah.
yeah, so
It's just
it's just weird. It's weird.
interesting, interesting. Well, as the world turns, 100%, 100%. With that being said,
All right.
what would you guys like to talk about next?
I think it is important that we start the day off.
On snakes on a plane? All right, great
Snakes
topic.
on a plane. I want these steaks off this plane.
I've had enough of these mother snakes on this mother plane.
I'm waiting for them to do. They need to do a spin-off. They need to do um, spiders on a plane, or what's another
We need
animal that
out
they could sneak on a plane?
we need alligators on a cruise ship.
Alligators on a cruise ship. That would be funny. I
Oh,
mean,
that's
we've
too
already had a
much.
movie called Anaconda, so we don't need to have a movie where big. We've had Lake Placid with the giant crocodile or alligator or whatever that was, eating people. But yeah, I think we should. Yeah, I think we need to do spiders in my bed, or that's creepy. You ever had that happen where you're laying in bed and you're just like you feel something crawling, and like, God damn it, it better not be a spider crawling on me right now. I had that last night. I fucked up on feeling like things were crawling on me.
Yep. Same here, bro. It's happened to me.
And,
Don't worry.
and my wife's like, "Is everything okay?" I was like, "Yes."
No,
Not really.
it's definitely
Can't tell
not.
my wife I feel spiders crawling on me. She'll be freaking out. She's like, "I'm getting out of this bed. Run."
Get the fumigator.
But
Get the spiders out of here.
but yeah, the thing I think we should talk about is the WNBA and the Indiana Fever and the Chicago Sky played the other day.
Mm.
And I think we should talk about that a little bit because I find it absolutely freaking hilarious that that whole entire game was focused on one moment in the game. Like the only news that came out about that game was that moment.
Was the
And
foul itself.
yeah, it was the foul itself. And I've watched that play, and it's funny because before Caitlin Clark fouls Angel Reese, which that foul in itself was really not that bad. Okay,
It
I've
sh
seen other players give that foul to many other situations, WNBA, NBA, high school basketball, college. I've seen that foul happen a million times.
it should not have been a flagrant foul.
Um, and I've seen most of the time, I have not seen the player getting fouled react in the manner that Angel Reese did because they know what it was. They fouled me because they didn't want to give me an easy shot. Okay, it's what a lot of players refer to as a take foul. I'm gonna give a take foul.
Yeah.
So it's very commonplace in all levels of basketball. Hell, I've coached kids to do it, If you see them going to get an easy layup, foul them, and make sure you foul them hard enough not to hurt them, but hard enough that they don't make the layup and get it and one. And that's
Yep,
exactly what I saw in that play.
pretty much.
Um,
100%.
but what made that play interesting is if you watch before the foul happens, you see Angel Reese push the defender in the back, which should have been a push foul
Yep.
because she extends not just one arm, both
Both.
arms, to
Yep.
make sure that the defender cannot box her out, which gives her a clear lane to rebound the ball. And she didn't really have to do that because it was a long ass rebound, anyways, and the defender was in a bad position to get the rebound. She didn't even have to do anything. Um, so that foul should have happened, which would have negated the Caitlin Clark having to foul her in the first place. But they didn't call that, which is pretty normal, I think, at times. I've seen lots of guys push off in the NBA, and they don't usually call a lot of push fouls. Um, at least not while rebounding. You don't see it called a lot. Um, but then you had Angel Reese flop like LeBron
Yeah, she took a
afterwards.
page
Like
out of LeBron's book.
she flopped like she got hammered with a two by four.
Ah, dude, it was very hard when I saw the replay and like the news, like Indiana Fever blow out Chicago Sky in a chippy game, and then I'm watching the interviews and I'm watching the replay of the game and watching the actual file itself multiple times. It was just kind of like, yeah, Angel, you watched a lot of LeBron. I get it. I get it. You know, I see what you're doing. And it's hard for me because like I am a Chicago Sky fan. And when we drafted Angel Reese, I was very torn about that because I've seen a lot of her play in college. Not that she's a bad player, she's a good player. Could she be better? Yeah. Is there things in her game she needs to work on? Of course, like they all do. But like this attitude is the part like I'm just not like her attitude that she showed during the game is the part that I'm not really on par with. Like I don't know, like this chip on her shoulder is very extreme. Um, and it's kind of like certain times where she does interviews, I'm just not 100% sure if I'm believing what's coming out of her mouth in regards to that. Like I can't believe the words that she's saying because I'm not sure if she's being truthful or not. Um, I read on X, and I'm trying to find it now. Um, like here's the thing. Like after she got fouled, she says, "You crazy as fuck. What the fuck is wrong with you?" Like she's saying that to Caitlin. It's like,
Yeah, you
but
can read, you can lip read that. It's like clear as day.
like, and here's another one. I'm just seeing it again. I'm like, what? She fouled you, but she didn't pull no Ron or Test foul or some shit or some Dennis Rodman foul. I mean, come on now. But so RG3, Mr. Chim, he
Oh
made.
yeah, I saw that tweet by him or
Yeah,
that
like
X by
he's
him.
pretty much sane. And to be honest with you, I kind of agree with him to a point. Like, I think this chip on her shoulder from Angel Reese is really so like during the college season. Yeah, it was the two of them in the spotlight. But let's be honest, who was the number one person in the spotlight? It wasn't her in LSU. It was Caitlin Clark in Iowa. Let's just be honest on what
Hmm.
she was doing. And yeah, it was the both of you who kind of helped elevate the WNBA. But if we're gonna really talk about who's the one who truly elevated, unfortunately, it's Caitlin Clark. And I'm sorry, people are gonna try to pull the race card and pull some stuff with that as well, which I've seen, and it just it's frustrating to see that. But pretty much, I can find this from RG3 because I want to read it verbatim,
It's
to be honest with you.
yeah, it's one of those things
Here we go.
that you know I get it. People want fans to give credit to the players that came before. And as a basketball fan, I do. Like, I give credit to the people that paved the way for people like Kate and Clark and Angel Reese to come into the league and do what they did. But you cannot deny the inevitable fact that the league, the spotlight on the league that it has now compared to what it had 5 years ago, is not the same. Like
Mm-mm.
people want to watch. There is a reason for like social media is much bigger now for them because people want to see highlights of the games that either of these two are in. More on the Caitlin Clark side than the Angel Reese side because people like to make fun of Angel Reese and her ability to not shoot a layup at
Which she
times.
was 4 for
But
13 in that game, by the way, as well.
yeah, for layup, yeah, and yeah, she
She had
was
17 rebounds. Like most of her points, besides the 4 shots she made, one was a 3-pointer, I think was from the free throw line. She had 17 rebounds, and I think 7 or 8 of those rebounds were offensive for her misses, I think.
yeah. So it's one of those things where you can say that people don't appreciate the previous NBA, but they do. But the level, the ability of Caitlin Clark, whether other people want to admit it, she is a generational what I will deem just like LeBron was, just like um, you know MJ was, and other players that came before them. They're generational players. Like you're not going to see that level of talent come through it, anytime soon. They are generational style players. They change the way that the game is looked at and the way people want to enjoy the game. It's just a
And
plain fact.
they changed the game in college. Like the WNBA was slowly progressing to be more viewers, more people in the stands. It was growing slowly, and it's not that like the females before Caitlin Clark were good because I have favorites, you know what I mean? Like I watch the product
Cheryl Swoops.
every year, so there's very good, talented, high-end female players. So it's not that there wasn't, but Caitlin Clark was just like the WNBA was on a slow incline, and like women's college basketball was like on a quicker incline in the past 5 years. Like the girls were becoming more grittier, more flashy. There was a lot of stuff going on. There was more eyes. I mean, I think the last 2 years, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese were in college. They were like for March Madness, they were blowing out the men's in viewership. Like more people were watching women's college basketball tournament than the men's college basketball tournament. And that's kind of, how often does that ever happen? So
Yeah.
they kind of elevated those girls in college, elevated the college eyes. Some of the coaches in there as are polarizing as well. Women's college basketball brought more eyes to the product, and it just transitioned over to the WNBA. And listen, stop with the hate. All they're doing is elevating your sport. You have a new franchise, the Golden State Valkyries, that started this year, and it's not because of those two. It's been a steady
Mhm.
progress. And then next season, there's going to be 2 more expansion WNBA teams, and they're looking for a third one, 2 to 3 years from then.
So,
So
and let's,
it's just kind of like enjoy the rise of
yeah,
what these girls are doing for the sport in general.
yeah, and let's ask this: in the draft, who do you think got the better pick out of the two franchises, too, the Chicago Sky or the Indiana Fever?
Of course, the Indiana Fever on that one. I mean, come on now.
Yeah, they got Sophia Cunningham. Who did the Chicago Sky pick up? The person who couldn't go to any team and win, freaking Haley Van Lith. And no offense to Haley Van Lith, she's a hell of a player, but she transferred what 3 times in her college career.
Yeah, she started at Louisville, and then
Louisville
she, and then
did really
she,
well.
yep,
Went to LSU, couldn't win. Went to
went very far
TCU.
again. Didn't win. Went to TCU, went very far, and didn't wasn't able to make it. But overall, she have a great college career? Yes, she did.
Absolutely.
Why she had to go to 3 different teams is beyond me. I think she's a hell of a cute, but I think she's a hell of a player. But like in that game yesterday, she only played 5 minutes. I think she was 2 for 2, but she only played 5 minutes in that game. So I don't know how much of an impact she's going to be on the team for the season. Um,
I don't know how
so,
much Sophia Cunningham played, but the Indiana Fever destroyed the Chicago Sky.
oh,
Like
I
it
mean,
was
after
not even
after the
close.
first quarter, I think it was like 22-17 after the first quarter, and after that, like eh, Chicago couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. I mean, they didn't score over 15 points in any of the next 3 quarters. So they got manhandled, or woman handled, if you want to put it in those terms. So
Wow,
here's
how is
here
Sophia Cunningham so old? She's 28 years old.
old.
28, that can't be right. She
Uh,
just got out of college. Did she start college late?
you might have to Google that one and find that out.
Yeah,
Or double
that's
check the draft with that one. I did find RG3's tweet, so this is what he wrote. And to be honest with you, I'm not going to disagree with him per se. It says after watching Caitlin Clark's flagrant foul on Angel Reese and the aftermath, there is no way Angel Reese can continue to lie that she doesn't dislike Caitlin Clark. I know what hatred looks like. Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark. Not some basketball rivalry hate either. Hate. Period. I mean, there's rivals, but to be honest with you, I think Angel is taking the rivalry more seriously than Caitlin Clark is. Caitlin Clark is
no.
playing ball. Like, I don't think she really sees her as a rival, to be honest with you, like in any means. So I get where he's coming from. I 100% do. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like, you know, I think Caitlin is doing the right thing. And I think at the end of the day, Angel needs to have some self-reflection and figure out what she needs to do because like this can't continue. It's not something that's going to help the team in regards to it. So uh yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see how
So
the
I was wrong. Sophia Cunningham has been playing for the Phoenix. Um, for
I,
Phoenix.
I can't remember all the girls that were drafted in the WNBA draft, to be honest
So
with you.
there's got to be somebody with a name very close to her name because there was another really high profile guard that came out of the was in the draft this year. And I thought the Indiana Fever got her, but maybe I'm wrong. I must be wrong. Well, I'm definitely wrong.
I'll pull
Um,
up the
yeah, W and
you're talking about the girl from UConn Bukers?
no,
Because
maybe.
Paige Bukers is the one from UConn. She got drafted by Dallas.
Okay. So yeah, here's the draft nominee. Yeah, it must have been Paige Buchers. I must have been thinking of her. I don't know why I was thinking of Cunningham. Maybe it's because Cunningham was they were highlighting her. Were they were there I feel like there must have been a lot of highlights about her playing for the Fever in the preseason games, like a lot of preseason highlights for
Hmm,
her.
that could have been why.
So I'm gonna blame that on old age, folks. That's an old age problem. I can't keep anything straight anymore. I'm
Oh,
going
it's
senile.
okay.
No, I don't want to say that because that
Yeah,
this is
don't
people
say
that
it.
really are going senile, and that's terrible for them.
No, no, don't say that. Do not say that. Yeah, it's just an unfortunate situation. Like I just, like I said, Caitlin doesn't think there's a rivalry there. Angel Reese does. I think there's going to be a maturity level when it comes to Angel Reese. Um, I was hoping there would be something more for season two. And of course, when I saw the schedule come out, we're playing Indiana the first game of the season. I'm like, oh, this might not go well. But it is what it is in regards to that, to be honest. So, you know, Sky are still rebuilding to a certain extent, but they could be better.
They can always be better, man.
I'm just trying to see, like, did we? Oh, that's right. The one girl we drafted, she's like a European girl that Asia Sivka from France. So I guess she didn't come over to play in the WNBA this year. She's probably waiting until next year. Huh. Anywho, we have our draft rights,
Now
whatever.
the Fever this year got Michaela Timpson
Yeah.
and Bree Hall.
Yeah, they didn't have a pick until second round.
Yeah,
Yep, yep.
yeah. There's a lot of these because I don't follow girls. I don't follow women's basketball in college, so a lot of these names I have no idea who the hell they are.
No, understandable. Understandable.
It's usually whoever they're talking the most about in college, like Haley Van Lith I knew and Bucher I knew, but those were the only two that I knew.
All good.
I knew Kiki. I heard that name too before. Kiki
Yeah, Kiki's a good
Hirofan.
player. Yeah, she
Hirofan.
could.
Yeah. I'm
Kiki's a good player.
trying to think who's USC. Yeah. So yeah, it was an interesting foul. I can't wait till they play again to see what happens
I
the
know.
next time that they play.
It's crazy. So I think what they're doing is I think Chicago moved their game against Indiana to the United Center. I think they're actually playing their home game against Indiana in the United Center. So that'll be interesting. We'll see how that goes. It's just kind of like it to me, it's a one-sided rivalry, to be honest with you. And the WNBA is going to fucking milk as much money as they can off of it, and as much
Hmm.
drama and media attention on it as they can. You
Milk
know,
that cow.
it's like let's look at the
Sorry,
rookies.
Pat.
Let's look at Paige Buchers and see what's going on with her. You know what I mean? So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
All right. Pat hasn't said much of anything except for like about two sentences. Pat, weigh in on something. Start us with a new top. Start us with a new topic, there, man.
The New York Giants in 2025-26 season will have how many wins? Go. Your quarterback at the end of the season will be go.
Paige Buchers, have you guys ever seen Young Frankenstein?
Uh,
It's been a
maybe.
long time.
Yeah.
Well, Cloris Leachman plays the character Frau Blucher in that movie. And whenever they say the name Blucher, like the horse is always whinny.
Hmm.
So Paige Buchers, Bucher, Blucher, and I just feel like you can almost make that joke.
All
I'm
right, we'll
grasping at
see.
straws. No, I don't want to talk about the Giants. Football season's too far away.
He doesn't want to be disappointed too soon.
Look, there's still a very much a work in progress team. I think they definitely improved, but they have a brutal schedule based on last year. I mean,
Yes, you have the hardest, and we have the second hardest.
here's the thing, though, that I hate about this. So everybody always wants to make those assumptions. Well, they have the hard schedules. Oh my God, you don't know what's going to happen. You can't predict certain things. You can't
Yeah,
predict key. You can't predict key injuries. You can't predict guys having the seasons of their lives, and so it's kind of silly to
it's
always
all
base that
The strength of
on
schedule
it's
in the NFL is
it's paper
ridiculous.
news. It's all it is.
yeah.
It's paper news. That's
Well,
it.
like, okay, hold on, real quick. Let me just pull up the Giants schedule, real quick here.
Yeah. Because strength of schedule, they're basing in everything on last season
Hmm.
and how the team performed. Not only do you have to think about, okay, who could get injured throughout the year, who are they going to lose in the free agency market? Like they could lose key players in the free agency market that dwindle their ability to win.
Well, I mean,
There's
that's pretty much over at this point. Like, like there's not going to be like huge adjustments anymore on those levels, But so like, okay, yeah, they say the Giants have a tough schedule because they got to play the Eagles twice, the Commanders twice, the Cowboys twice.
that's
They're the
every year.
teams. So the Eagles are defending Super Bowl champions. Commanders got to the conference title game last year, and the Cowboys are who the fuck knows.
I'm going to say this about the Commanders, and if there's any Commanders out fans out there, well, you can kiss my booty. Um, the Commanders got got the proverbial um, shock of having a quarterback that actually is talented. I'm not going to say that he's not talented, but it's the same thing that happens to a lot of these talented quarterbacks. They come in, they have these schemes, and teams do not know how to play against those new schemes and adjust to the type of play that quarterback has. Second year is always a big difference in how that team is able to perform because teams now have a whole year of game film to review and say, this is what this quarterback can do. This is what they can't do. How do we scheme against it to highlight the weaknesses and take away their strengths? And then now it's a real chess match in defensive offensive coordinating against each other, and it does greatly change the outcome of how that quarterback is able to perform. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Commanders
Well,
are not going to
so
be what they were last year. I think they'll still be good, but I don't think they're going to be as good as they looked last year.
right.
Okay, I'm just
So
done.
my thing with the Commanders is we've seen plenty of times where quarterbacks come in as rookies and are great, and then that's it. Like they never actually get better for some reason. Not saying that's going to happen with Jaden Daniels, but it could. It's like I think yeah, people have jumped on the Commanders bandwagon a little too much because they're just assuming he's going to keep getting better. Hey, hopefully he does, but so so you got that, for the Giants. They have to play the AFC West, so the Chiefs, Chargers, Broncos, and Raiders.
Mm.
People expect the Raiders to be improved because they have Pete Carroll and Geno Smith. Um,
To be determined.
the Chiefs are still good,
You
obviously.
guys are Pete Carroll lovers. I know that
The
too.
Chargers and the Broncos, I don't quite know what to think of the Chargers, the Broncos right now. I mean, again, Broncos, same thing. Bo Nix played really well as a rookie. Let's see what he does. The Giants have to play the NFC North, so Packers, Vikings, Lions, Bears.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So, hey, maybe JJ McCarthy sucks and the Vikings aren't any good, you know?
I hope so.
Maybe Caleb Williams doesn't get any better and the Bears don't take any steps forward. So
I hope not. Hope that doesn't happen.
I know. I'm just. And then their other games are the
I'll
Saints.
lose my mind.
Then the Giants, like random games, as it were, are the Saints, the 49ers, and the Patriots. So it's like,
Yeah, the other three games of the teams they play against,
I think
they
the
have the same
49ers are as good
standards
as
as
they're
them.
going.
yeah,
I think the 49ers are as good as they're going to get. I think the hype around Brock Purdy is over.
well, no, it's not because they just gave him that huge ass contract.
Well, I should say maybe not from the 49ers aspect. I think from a fan base, unless you're a
Yeah.
49ers fan, you're like, okay, Brock Purdy, we've seen what Brock Purdy can do. And though people will be like, well, they had a lot of injuries last year. Uh-huh. So
Yeah.
have other teams, and they've still been able to perform. So
Right.
don't
So
give me
that's
that bullshit.
always the big X factor with the NFL is who gets injured and how well are you able to overcome those injuries. Some injuries you just can't overcome.
Yeah,
Some
true.
you can. It all depends. But I'm just saying everything's a total crapshoot. So I'm just willing to let things play out because this is again going to be another season where I do not anticipate being able to see most of the games because I'm not expecting to splurge for the Sunday ticket package. So
I
I'll
wish they
only
would
like the
do.
primetime games.
I wish they would do something like where you can just select your team
Yeah,
instead of watching the whole thing. Just give the option to fans, either
I
the
know.
whole thing or select a team.
I was having a conversation with my dad the other night where he was complaining about how they're not going to, he and my mother aren't going to get the package
Because
this
you
week
could do
it's-
that with the NBA. You can select the
Yeah.
whole thing, or you can select one team to watch.
Yeah, because it's it's like on YouTube, and he was complaining about how it's more expensive on YouTube than it was on DirecTV. I don't know, so I guess that you have
It
to
is a
pay,
little bit, yes, because I get it.
and I guess that you can't pay it off in installments, which I thought
Yes.
you could, but at the same time, I told he was complaining about I can't believe the NFL made this decision. I said, well, Dad, I hate to tell you this, but one of the reasons they made the decision is because more people could watch on YouTube TV than on DirecTV. All you need in order to watch on YouTube TV is an internet connection, essentially. So,
Yeah.
but whatever. So, the Giants, again, I'm cautiously optimistic, but because I think they made some good improvements in free agency. I think they had a really good draft. So now it's about do these guys become good players or not? So and obviously the Giants quarterback situation. I mean, I'm sure we'll see Jackson Dart at some point in the year. My preference would be he only ever plays early in the season in like mop up duty. And then once the team's like eliminated from playoff contention, then sure, put him in. That's going to be those are going to be like end of the season games where like their last four games just to throw them out or the Commanders, Vikings, Raiders, and Cowboys. So, we'll see how it all goes. But so you said change the topic, and you guys started throwing topics at me before I had a chance to change the topic myself.
Well, what are friends for?
Yeah, you dupes. There's two things I want to mention. One's kind of quick, and the other one will depend upon what you guys tell me. So, did you hear about the snafu last night with Collision?
No.
No, because I didn't watch it.
Okay. So let me pull it up here because it's really really weird. All right. All right. So this is from Cage Side Seats. I'm going to read their article as is. Saturday night is all right for fighting, since they use the Elton John song in the collision theme, which I will say to Tony Khan. Well, I always thought that was a great move. Anyway, well, it was for 90 minutes instead of the standard 2 hours and change. Collision was airing on TNT, then a movie started playing to cut off the final 30 minutes. And an ironic twist, the movie was Black Adam. TNT scrolled this message at the bottom of the screen. Due to technical difficulties, AEW Collision is not airing tonight. Well, that's a weird way of saying it. Please check allelitewrestling.com for updates.
What about it wasn't on the app either?
Let me just continue.
Okay.
AEW updated the situation on social media. Due to technical difficulties, AEW Collision Beach Break East Coast airing was cut short. West Coast airing will be unaffected. We will have an on-demand version available on Sports on Max and the TNT app as soon as possible. We apologize for the inconvenience and appreciate you hanging with us. We are committed to providing you with the capitalized best wrestling on the planet. We'll take this bump and get on it. Okay. Tony Khan then tweeted about how the West Coast feed would air in its entirety and the full show will be available on HBO Max. That's another topic.
They went back to
another
HBO
topic.
Max.
And that wasn't a dig at Tony Khan. Just to make that clear.
HBO.
The matches that went unaired were Dustin Rhodes and Sammy Guevara versus Leo Rush and Action Andretti, and Will Hobbs versus Wheeler Yuta. So, what I find, and I guess they didn't really specifically say, is why exactly did the East Coast feed get cut off, but then the West Coast feed would be fine? Like, what was the difference? Like, what exactly happened?
That is the
Because it's
question.
like, I mean, obviously it's live in the East Coast, and obviously they're recording as they're going along, of course. But so what happened that prevents like the live East Coast feed from continuing, but obviously they're still recording with no problems so that it will air in entirety on the West Coast and then be on HBO Max. So that's very, very weird. But let me also just say this real quick. Missing a match involving Wheeler Yuta is nobody's loss. I feel sorry for Hobbs because I still like Hobbs, but fuck Wheeler useless.
Yeah, Yuta's not I'm not a big fan of Yuta, honestly. Hobbs I am. So
Put it this
yeah.
way: anybody who's involved with the death ratings, just no. I'm sorry you've ruined your career so badly like this, Cesaro.
I mean, look, they have like a new member. You know, the guy from New Japan is helping them out now too, it seems like. So they've added another person to the stable. I guess they had to because what happens when Pac seamlessly can't, figure out his visa, or if he's injured, who knows with that guy anymore.
Well, he's
these days.
injured now. Now it's not like a potential visa injury. He definitely got injured in that match.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. So they have have his replacement. So the New Japan guy will fill in, and
yeah. So all right. So here's the second thing that I want to mention.
Okay.
Did you guys finish watching Andor?
No.
yes.
Well, see, this is why I thought
I'm glad I'm able to disappoint.
because Jeremy didn't finish watching it like a jerk.
Oh, he's such a
watching
slapper.
other shows. I'm sorry. I've got like 40 shows that I'm trying to watch right now. I can't pin them down.
Priorities, Jeremy.
Well, see, that's a good thing
Priorities.
for me because again, I don't have live TV right now. So I don't have to worry about watching anything like, live. So it's all going to be on all demand stuff or watching Raw live on Netflix because I still have my Netflix. But this past week was like the season finale for some of the shows that I watched. Like I was watching 3 shows on Thursday nights, the 2 Law and Order shows and Gordon Ramsay's Next Level Chef on Fox. Well, those all had their finales this week. So don't even have to worry about watching those now going forward. Now I know Ramsay's got another show, which is like another variation of Kitchen Nightmares essentially coming soon. I'm sure I'll watch that. I think that's
he's going in with hitting cameras in before so his face isn't recognized.
Yeah, well, see that's the thing. He did Kitchen Nightmares for so many years. Then they did that one a few years ago called 24 Hours to Hell and Back, where it was Kitchen Nightmares on steroids in the sense that instead of being there for several days, he was only there for 24 hours, and he was going into the restaurant in disguise. This one, it's like yeah, he's like going there undercover somehow first,
Yeah.
because again, and it's like the premise. It's like when the people know that he's going to be there, yeah, they're going to be on their best behavior and all that other shit, like they always say, and you're not going to see the real problems, like you're not going to see what they really do, so blah blah blah. So I'm always fascinated to see shit like that, and it's like probably why one of the reasons why I stick to so many chain restaurants because I don't know if I can trust local restaurants. The fun.
Yeah.
I still always
Yes
remember
and
they did
no.
the one Italian place that was several miles down the road from where I used to live, and I never went there while it was open. And then after I saw the episode, I was kind of glad that I never went there. Oh yeah, but yeah. But anyway, yeah. So watching shows for me now, it's weird because I have like a list of stuff. It's like, oh, I want to watch this. I want to watch this. But then I never seem to do it. So
Yeah, I feel like I found as I've gotten older, I have ADHD. I don't know if I really do, but I
I
cannot
don't know
seem
Indeed.
if
to
I
focus.
have. Yeah, I have issues with focus. Like I can't keep like one thought in my mind
Like if
very
I
well.
like if I start watching a show, like there's certain shows, like if it's a short series, like 8 episodes, I can watch 8 episodes, and but if it goes longer than that, like I'm like, okay, I'm like episode 6. Oh man, I got like 20 more episodes to go. All right, what's another show I can watch? Like I'll like I gotta go to another show, and then I come back, and like that's why like you guys get frustrated with me because you're like, dude, you gotta watch Andor. I'm like, yeah, I know I gotta watch Andor, but I gotta watch this show too, and then I got this show, and I'm like flip flocking back and forth, back and forth. But no, I will watch. I will. I can't say by next week I'll have watched all the episodes of Andor, but I'll at least catch a couple episodes. I did watch the first episode when it came out, like when it dropped the new season of Andor. I did watch the first episode right away, and I was like,
How
this is
many
awesome.
how many episodes in are you?
One.
Yeah, you got 11 to go.
Um,
Yes, I watched the first episode. That was it.
I will say this, I'm not spoilers, but out of all the Star Wars series, I think this is the best one from start to finish.
It's easily the best one. Yeah.
Best stories, best drama, best story telling, best character building. There's still battles and fights to be had within both seasons. So me, hands down, this is the best Star Wars TV show or series, whatever you want to call it,
Or
that
did I
they've
get to
made.
episode two?
I think as far as best moments within all the Star Wars shows, I think Mandalorian season one, last episode, Luke Skywalker showing up as I think is the best moment. Or is that, oh, is it season
And
two?
two.
Yeah, it was
Oh
season
God, I
two.
couldn't remember. Okay, season two. I think that was the best moment in any of the Star Wars series, to be honest with you. Because there's a lot of rumors for other stuff, but I think that to me that's the best moment. Some people will say Mandalorian's the best series because it's the one that started it all, which is fine. I won't have.
Mandalorian, I would say, is definitely the most fun series. And to
Yeah,
say I mean, I think it's also pretty safe to say it's better than every Star Wars series we've gotten so far, except Andor, which is not like an insult. I mean, the first season of
no,
Andor was nominated for an Emmy for Best Drama. A
yeah.
fucking Star Wars show was nominated for an Emmy, and I kind of expect this season will be too. So to say, oh,
Oh
it
yeah.
wasn't as good as the show that got nominated for an Emmy, that's not exactly like to say
It's
it
not a
sucks.
diss.
So
I mean,
Um,
overall, I've enjoyed all the Star Wars series.
I have too.
From from
Again,
the
I'm one. I'm not. Even though I think it was very inconsistent and took a little while to get going and then went too fast in some things, I'm still disappointed we're not going to get another season of The Acolyte.
same here as
I'm
well.
not I'm not one of these people who's all like, oh, it's too woke. Because of course,
It's-
anytime I hear somebody complain about something being woke, I immediately say, you are a person not worth talking to.
yeah, that season definitely deserves um show deserves another season. I heard they might do it in graphic novel or comic aspect now. So I mean, it's fine, but at the same point, it's not the same. Not the same.
no. Um, I might have gotten to episode two because I feel like maybe I watched part of episode two just because I know like in the first episode of Andor, he steals the like prototype of the new TIE fighter that they have. He gets it to that rendezvous point, and there's a team of people that got left there by their by their commander or whoever it was, and they ended up killing the guy that he was supposed to meet, evidently, or at least that's the way they um,
Correct.
introduce it. Like he's like they killed that guy. I don't know if he was really dead or not. Um,
Well, we never saw him, so we have to assume.
yeah, but then and I can't remember if that's how that episode ends. In the next episode picks up where he's trying to like convince these people to let him teach them how to fly the plane. The new Tie Fighter. But so I might have got part in the episode too.
I think you
I,
got into episode 2, yeah.
Sounds like
so
yeah.
so it's interesting. I liked it. What I did watch, I really enjoyed. I think Andor, as far as Star Wars series goes, it took a while for me to get into it for the first season, but
It
by the
did. The first
time when
season
I
did take a few episodes to get going. Yeah.
but once I like sat back and just started watching it and really like allowing that series to develop as it did, I was like, yeah, I like this. This is a good show.
Yeah, no, 100%. And then the last couple episodes, like the last 3, dive into some interesting aspects of storytelling and things that you find out as well.
And I will say that I finished watching, and I don't know, Joe, if you did. And I know, Pat, I don't know if you ever watched this series, but what the hell series is it? Shit. My brain just went blank. Damn you.
That's when we get older.
And I'm not seeing it here. The bad company, not bad company,
Bad Batch.
Bad Batch. I finished watching that entire series, the Bad Batch series.
I like Bad Batch, except for one thing.
I got through I'm 3 episodes in on the last season. I haven't watched the rest of it yet.
What did you not like, Pat?
I just didn't like her voice. Her voice annoyed the fuck out of me throughout the entire run of the
Oh, the
series.
kid in that series. Yeah, it was. It sounded like a bad English accent.
No, it was more like Australian or New Zealand, but I like looked up the voice actress and I was expecting her to be like, a young woman, but no, it was like a woman in her 30s or something like that. I'm like, "Well, you don't you didn't do a good job of making it seem like you were like some kind of kid, but just it was just the way she said things that were just annoying. It's like I'm just like, this is a nails on chalkboard voice for me. So
You didn't sound like a proper 14-year-old. God damn you.
But I really liked the way they ended that series with, and I'm not going to spoil it for you, Joe, because I know you'll eventually finish watching it. But I just like the way that they ended it and how it came about. I'm interested to see if they do a live action adaptation of that for a movie release.
I doubt
I
it.
think probably not, but it'd be interesting to see how they do it. I'm interested to see if they work that into another series somewhere, like a live action series, or like maybe intertwine it a little bit with the Bad Batch
Maybe the
somehow.
Mandalorian movie that's coming out
Yeah,
next year.
yeah, maybe the Mandalorian movie that's coming out intertwine the Bad Batch because it takes place at that same point in time, like that same timeline of that, because it's when. Well, actually,
No, Bad
it
Batch is
doesn't. Bad Batch is
Bad,
before that because it
Bad
has the
Batch
Clone
Sooner.
Wars.
is
It's the aftermath of the Revenge of the Sith, right? Revenge of the
yeah.
Sith. Yeah,
So Bad Batch is still about 20 years before Mandalorian.
yeah. So
I mean, but they are clone troopers, so they can still be
yeah,
alive.
yeah, they are clone troopers, so they could still be alive. I mean, in the end scene, you see the age at which they get to. You don't know how far it is. Um, so
Which always
they
leaves a door
could.
open for a lot of things if they do that. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't know how you can't tell exactly how old they are. You don't know how old they are when they start. You just know that they're full age clones by the time that they get when Order 66 happens.
Yeah.
So, but I like the what I liked about that series was the fact that you see what they were trying to do, and you see it touched on in the Mandalorian series too with Moff Gideon. Like, if I remember correctly, at some point in time, they find a batch of clones like in a chamber. Like, didn't they come across a big batch of clones in that first series, the second season of that show, The Mandalorian?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. They
In that
do.
one like bunker area they come across, like you can see that in that series in the final season you see how it's kind of leading towards that with the a scientist that's in that series and what he's doing, like that's the beginning phases of it.
Gotcha, gotcha. Yeah, I gotta finish that one yet. That's probably the only Star Wars series I have not finished watching yet. Because I've
You've watched
watched,
Tales from the Underworld?
yeah, I thought those were
I
good.
haven't watched that yet. I have to watch that, especially because I guess my dad did, and I was like,
It's good.
I mean, for the trailer, it looked like it was like giving us almost like a Cad Bane origin story, and I'm like, yes, I must anything that'll give me more Cad Bane, I need to see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have not
And the Ventress
started
stuff was
that,
good too.
but that's brand new too. That's a new series.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
They're
those were good.
short episodes though. Wow, like 15-minute episodes. I like
Hmm.
that. That keeps my attention span.
There should be no problem with you watching all six of them in one sitting then.
Yes. There was another one too that I really enjoyed. That was a Star Wars series, since we're talking about Star Wars.
Was it the one-offs, the anime styles done in by just
Yes.
yeah, by different Japanese artists and
Yeah,
anime
Visions.
animation? Yeah. Visions is
Visions was
good.
good. Um, Tales of the Empire, that was another one that they put out, like a short series.
Yeah, that was good too.
I watched that.
Yeah, the short
Um,
series ones are good. Like they've done good with that stuff. It's just a matter of now.
I did not watch Resistance. I can't bring myself to watch that. Tales of the Jedi was another good one.
Resistance is resist. I'm gonna say this. Resistance is hard to watch. It really is. Because Resistance is very more like young kid focused. So it's definitely a bit challenging to watch
And I
it
will
from
not
time to
watch
time.
Young Jedi. That's a no go for me. Young Jedi Adventures, that's a no go.
Yeah, I want that's definitely really super kid based. Yeah, I can't
Yeah, I tried to
watch
have
that one.
Lucas watch that because I was like, oh, maybe he'll get into Star Wars by watching this. He's like, I don't like this, Dad. I'm like, I understand. This is pretty bad.
Star Wars Rebels. Just put them on Star Wars Rebels, I'll be fine. That's all you
Yeah,
gotta
no, he
do.
doesn't. He does not get into sci-fi stuff. But what he does want to watch, which I'm very happy about, is he wants to watch The Goonies because I showed him the Truffle Shuffle the one time, and he's like, "This is." He's like, "I was like, this is part of a movie called The Goonies." He's like, "Really?" So he's interested in watching The Goonies, and I think The Goonies is a great kids adventure movie. Like, it's definitely kid friendly
well, yeah.
adventure
I mean,
movie.
it's that's kind of like the template for the kid adventure movie, and obviously, like Skeleton Crew. You know, you could very easily see the connective tissue between the Goonies and Skeleton Crew.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so he wants to watch that, and then there was I want to get him to watch because I think he'll enjoy that too. The Sandlot, like that's another good
Yeah.
kid-friendly, like fun movie, and he really loves baseball right now. So I think he would really enjoy that movie because you got a Biggs. You're killing me. No, is it Smalls? He's like, you're
Smalls.
killing me, Smalls.
That's kind of hysterical that you got that completely backwards.
Yeah, I know. I don't making fun of
Oh,
the
yeah,
fat
yeah.
kid. What's wrong with you?
It's okay. We'll forgive you this time. Don't worry
That
about it.
kid, that the guy that played that character of the what was he, the catcher in that movie, the redheaded guy, the redheaded kid.
Yeah.
He's on social media, like he does a lot of social media stuff, and he's pretty funny. Like when he does that stuff, like he'll do reenactments of the Sandlot at times with random friends of his and stuff like that. So
No, that
very
was
cool.
those are good movies for him to like watch some of those old school movies. Those are good ones, honestly.
Yeah, and they don't have the terrible, like if you go back and watch some of these older movies that were like sci-fis and like movies where they had to use like a lot of special effects, Like you go back and watch them now, like, man, this is really bad. Like,
Dude,
these special
yeah.
effects are terrible.
Well,
They
hey,
they
technology marches on, you know.
they
Yeah.
definitely are.
Well, it's funny because was it Dune, like one of the I think it was the original Dune movie, which was like what in the late 70s, 80s, early 80s, I want to
The
say.
first film version of Doom was 1984.
Yeah. So, and the shields that they had around those people, it's like, what the hell is with these block shields? I was like, this is so bad. Like, what are we doing here? Like, they couldn't come up with something better than these giant block shields around these people.
Hey
It's like,
man,
oh
they
god.
they they had to make do with what they were able to create at the time,
Hmm.
for the times.
Oh, I know, I get it, but it's just funny to go back and watch and be like, phew, this is what they went with.
It's just kind of
Not
like when I go
not
back and watch
everything.
all the um God, Mad Max movies, like the originals.
Yeah, not
They're
everything could be
hilarious.
as cutting edge as the original Star Wars trilogy was in terms of, the effects and everything.
I
So,
know, and that's what makes you, you go and you watch the original Star Wars, and not that they were mind-blowing effects, but they were pretty for that day and age. They were damn good, like damn good. Like it's just it's amazing where when you think about films and special effects and how they've evolved and stuff, and a lot of stuff is all computer generated special effects a lot of times now. The fact that they were able to in that time frame create special effects that didn't look corny or kooky, that looked as realistic as possible in that day and age is pretty damn impressive. And it
Yeah.
just shows you their dedication to wanting to put out a quality special effect that people couldn't just pick apart 20 years later and be like, oh, well, see, there's where they did that. It's still hard to pick apart, if you went back and watched it now,
Oh, absolutely.
like the popsicle Death Star explosion.
I know, I know. It's funny, watching the how they made those movies and whatnot. It's definitely funny. But hey, it worked.
Yep.
A lot of the shit you really can't tell. Uh, you can't tell when you're watching a movie because you have no idea until they actually show you. It's like, oh, never
I
really
still don't
noticed
know how
that.
they did the lightsabers, like made the lightsabers go. Like I've never seen any, I'm sure it's out there, but I have not seen any release on how they actually did the lightsaber special effect with the, they hit the button and the lightsaber, expands and that. Like they show you the behind the scenes with like the props that they used to like do the lightsaber scenes so that they were actually wielding like a physical like sword style thing, but I've never seen anything that's like this is how we created the lightsaber scenes with special effects back in 1978.
I just saw something. I can't remember what it was I was watching now. It was probably something on YouTube, but I think it was like, especially like thinking of like the very first Star Wars. And they were citing the fight scene between Obi-Wan and Vader specifically. You can kind of see there's something in Alec Guinness's sleeve that's supposed to like light up the stick that he's holding, but it never fully worked the way they wanted it to. So it was something like that, or something like just like rigging up something that could like give off like a glow or a light, I guess, while also trying to hide it within the costume. You know.
When they post-production, they just put some extra glitter on it.
Well,
Some extra
basically, yeah.
glitter.
Yeah, now of course it's easy to do that. You just do it all with a computer, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, they use uh, carbon fiber sticks that are attached to the hilts, and they just fight away, pretty
Mhm.
much.
Yep.
And voila,
So,
you have a lightsaber.
so I'm trying to think if I talked about this on the last episode that we did or 2 episodes ago. I'm trying to think when I talked about because I had put on the Jedi robe at Disney Springs. Did I talk about that? I don't feel
I
like
don't
I
think you
did.
talked about it. I remember seeing the pictures.
No, you did not. You did not disclose that to us.
So I don't think any of us has anybody else tried on the Jedi robe when visiting Disney. I feel like if
No.
anybody it would have been Darth Pad, but no, okay.
I
Those
don't
things are
know
heavy
if
as
they were
fuck.
doing that the last time I was at Disney, but even if they were, I'm not the kind of person who likes to do that. I don't
Yeah.
anything that
So
could be anything that could be considered cosplay is just really not for me.
yeah. So I will say this. Very cool
Was it at
that they
Disney
have
Springs
those.
that you did that?
Yeah, I did that at Disney Springs. Yep. They have a
Oh,
Star Wars store at Disney
yeah.
Springs
They
now.
didn't. They didn't have that last year when I went in
Yeah,
June.
yep. And it's, I could have got Star Wars earbud covers for my earpods, for my AirPods. I could have got a Darth Vader cover. I was like, I almost bought it. I was like, I really like that, but I'm not going to spend, the $15 on it. Like, I'm going to pass. God, here comes my son with a soda. No, you cannot have soda. I'm terrible. I know.
Atapa, atapata, atapa.
You
Don't
can have
care.
it later.
I don't care what other kids are doing. You're gonna do as I say. God damn it.
Keeping kids away from soda is definitely a good thing. I should never have been given soda.
Moderation is fine. Excessiveness of it is not good.
If zero cola, like the zero
Okay.
sugar soda, had existed when I was a kid too, that would have been fine. But yeah,
Pepsi tastes like Coke. There you go. Now you know what it tastes like.
but it doesn't.
One's a tad bit sweeter.
I feel I could pass the taste test challenge between Coke and Pepsi, and I would be able to
Oh God, yeah.
choose which.
I
Sorry, that's an easy
it's
one.
it's a
Well,
it's
I just bring that up because since you just mentioned, I'm sorry to go off on this tangent.
yeah, that's all right.
In one of the Food that built America episodes where they talked about like the cola wars between Pepsi and Coke, like that was Pepsi's big advertising thing back in the 80s, which started like ascending their market share against Coke, was they did those ads where like they were giving people a blind taste test and they were all picking Pepsi as the better tasting one. So
Yeah,
So I don't know. I've never been able to tell the difference between Pepsi and Coke. It's a Coca-Cola.
it's
It tastes
different.
like Coke.
It's different.
Anyways,
That's your
I
robe. So
believe
did you buy a robe or you
yes.
just tried it
I
on?
did not. I was not gonna. I don't. I didn't even look at the price. I was like, oh, cool Jedi robes. I was like, let me take a look at like. I looked at the motherfucking things are heavy as shit. Like it's like putting on a wool coat. I was like,
That's
holy hotness! Like,
Yeah, sorry, I'm
it's like
passing on that one. You gotta give me you gotta give me some light material and fabric. I'm not putting on some
no,
fucking bullshit.
it is. If that is
I
what
don't live
they
in
used
Alaska.
in the movies for these folks, like I feel bad for those guys because it's heavy. You could wear that legit, maybe not as a winter coat, but you could easily wear it as a fall coat. Like wrap it around yourself and you're gonna be warm. I was like,
I
nope,
believe it.
not wearing this thing. It was cool though to have the clasp because it has the clasp on it, so you can tie it just have the clasp at the top, and the gigantic fucking hood, like gigantic. I could put three heads in there and probably not fill it up. But
Oh, that's what she did. Definitely said. No, get that.
but yes, so it was cool. I have a picture of it. Of course, my wife took a picture through the window because she wasn't going to step foot in that store. Not that my wife has anything against Star Wars, but she thinks it's very dorky. That's
sounds
Silly.
like she's
fine.
got something against Star Wars to me.
She lets me indulge in my Star Wars goofiness, but
She thinks it's silly. I get it. It's okay.
yeah. And of course, Lucas saw the lightsabers. So, and he's like, Dad, is it lightsaber or lightsaber? I'm like, it's lightsaber. It's a saber sword. Uh,
The
and a lot
lightsaber
of,
has fewer calories.
yeah.
Like
Um, so
it's
he
nice,
sees those,
but
and he's like,
it's
dude.
not as much. So like it's better for you. So it's a lightsaber. Yeah.
And so he was like, let's have a fight. I was like, no, buddy, not in the store. I was like, I don't want to break these. He's like, come on, Dad. I was like, okay. So we had a lightsaber fight.
Yeah, I saw that video. I thought it was funny.
And of course, my wife and my daughter are just laughing at us. I was like, whatever. We're cool. Leave us alone.
Whatever.
Leave us be in our fantasy world, please. Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
But yes, so if you get the chance to go to Disney Springs, they do have a Star Wars store there now. And we did go to the Lego store when we were down in Disney Springs, which was awesome. Um,
Yeah, I did. We went there last year too when we were down there.
the first year that we were down at Disney Springs, that we went to Disney Springs, I was like, I ain't standing in that line to go into Lego store. Hell no. We got down there this time. We got down there at the perfect time because there was nobody. There was no line to get in. But when we left, huge ass line. I was
We
Yeah,
like,
went to the
sucks to be you guys.
to,
we
to have
went
to wait in line to get into a store, that shuts down my brain.
yeah, there was probably like we had to wait. I think last year when we went to Disney Springs, we waited about 15 minutes to get into the Lego store. So it wasn't that bad. It was a humid ass day though. We'll say that.
A humid day in Central Florida, you don't say.
Yeah, it was super humid that day though. The other days before that weren't as bad. The Star Wars store it wasn't that crowded, so I got to look at everything I wanted to. I didn't buy anything. And then the Coke store, we went to the Coca-Cola store. That was pretty cool.
I did not come across the Coca-Cola store, but we did not walk around the entire Disney Springs.
Yeah, the
So,
Coca-Cola store is at the depends on which entrance you go
Yeah,
in. It's at
Disney Springs is so freaking huge now, and there's basically three separate parts to it. So yeah.
yeah, it's the Coca-Cola store is by the one other parking garage. It's two
well,
floors.
yeah, we started walking around Disney Springs, and I was like, I don't remember this part of Disney Springs from the last time we were here. My wife kept on telling me, she's like, we only walked in like one small area at Disney Springs.
Yeah, and,
She's
and the
like,
middle part they've vastly revamped within the last few years, like the part that used to be Pleasure Island.
You can get your own Coca-Cola themed can with your name on it.
oh,
And they have different styles and whatnot that you can do. So I got that's hers. Mine's over there. I got my Neo Vlad gamer tag on mine. But they're supposed to
a
be
dork.
they're supposed to be yeah, I don't care. Um they're supposed to be doing bottles, like custom bottles. So when we go back in July for the tournament, I want to go to Disney Springs and see if they have the bottles.
Like glass bottles or plastic
Yes.
bottles? Glass
No.
bottles, that's the way
Yeah,
to go. Screw that plastic. Damn you, plastic company.
I know. Yeah, the Coca-Cola store is cool though. They got some really cool stuff in there.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we always go to the World of Disney store, which is, if you're looking for something Disney related, like, that's the place to go.
Yeah.
Yes, we've been in there. We went into that store the first time we were there.
Yep,
Yeah,
we went in there too.
I
There's a
don't
lot
know
of
if
stuff
they
in there.
still I don't know if they still had it.
It's
Um,
still there, yeah.
no, no, no.
Oh, no, not okay.
This is a specific part of the Disney store. One of the entrances to it, there, like at the top, like it's like 20 feet or so in the air, or 15, 20 feet in the air. There's like a stitch that occasionally spits water at you.
I did not see that.
And I remember
I
the
didn't
first
see
time
that
I went
either.
there, I think I got hit by like the tail end of it, and I was like, "What the hell was that?" And then like when we left, I realized because there was like some like girls who were kind of like waiting to like try to like dodge it and everything. I realized what was going on, and I was like, "Oh my God, that's hysterical."
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think that's there. I don't remember seeing that when I was in there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, last time I was there was 7.5 years ago now, so
Hmm. Well,
Yes.
yeah, they could have
The
changed it
Lego
then.
store did add something new, and I don't know when they added it. I know it was not there the last time I was there with my family. But they added and please correct me because I know I'm going to screw up the name of this character, but from Sleeping Beauty, they have the scene of the Maleficent dragon and the Prince Charming. Is it Prince Charming in that movie? Yeah, it's Prince Charming in that movie, I believe. Fighting like they built a
Prince Philip,
huge
Prince Philip
Prince
is
So
Philip,
Sleeping Beauty. Yeah.
but they built a giant Lego scene of that. I was like, that is cool.
yeah,
Yeah,
that
that
is
is
cool.
pretty cool.
No, no, it definitely is. Yeah, they I mean, that was my first time in Disney Springs since Nico was 5 years old and we went down to Disney because at that time and when he was five, I mean he's 16 now, so yeah, 11 years ago, um, Disney Springs was going through like renovations. So there was a lot of stuff that they were like adding on to Disney Springs. Um,
Yeah, that's probably when they were redoing Pleasure Island.
so there was a lot of stuff going on. So now it was like walking from one end to the other. It's like, some of the stores were interesting. Some of the stores, yeah, not so much, don't care. But Um, it was
There's
a
a
good
little bit
time.
of something for everybody there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. So it was definitely good. So when we go
The
down,
Virgin Megastore was really cool.
when we go down in July, I'll definitely be hitting up Disney Springs again.
Obviously, that Virgin Megastore was gone many years ago now, but I did go in at the one time we were there, I think in 2000, and I was just like, oh my God, this place is freaking unreal, but
Yeah,
physical media was still um
a thing.
well, yeah, I mean, it's still a thing now, and I of course still buy physical media, but yeah, obviously, like people are more concerned with streaming now, so
Yeah. We ended up eating like we wanted to go to a night. I shouldn't say a nice. We wanted to go to the sit down dinner at some place that we can't go to up here. So we ended up eating at Planet Hollywood. First time I was ever at a Planet Hollywood.
that Planet Hollywood's pretty neat.
Yeah.
I have no idea how it's changed since the last time I was there, but it's like in that big like globe thing. It's like sitting on the lagoon and everything. So
Yeah. No, it's pretty cool. Um, Boy, do they sell a lot of merchandise there. Holy shit.
oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
It's like, good lord.
yeah. We
I
Um,
mean,
try we try to.
you are encouraged to do so.
yeah.
No,
But
it's we also try to, like, when we go somewhere, try to eat at places that aren't the normal chain places that you can go anywhere. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Specialty places or local places, wherever the case may be. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I'm looking forward to going back down there.
Hmm.
Oh, so speaking of real quick, um, I do some sports betting from time to time, 10, 15, $20, nothing crazy. But I bet on the Indiana Pacers to beat the Cleveland Cavaliers in that series. And since they did win, the winnings from that bet paid for my tickets to go to Universal. So, yes,
Nice.
I will take that as a win-win for that one.
There you go. There you go.
Yes, yes. So, Pat, we're going to have a old school 90s New York Knicks versus Indiana Pacers for the Eastern Conference Finals. What are your thoughts there, sir?
I have visions of Reggie Miller dancing in my head, and they are not.
Do you know what's
I
funny?
They are most certainly not welcome.
Do you know what's funny? People keep bringing up the WWE scene where Brunson's in the crowd, the front row, and Halliburton like did his appearance, and he's like the two of them come face to face and they're like talking shit. They're like, "Oh, it was foreshadowing."
um I
It's
found
like,
it
oh
interesting.
God.
I have a not that I had respect for anybody in the NBA, but I've definitely look at Jalen Brown differently with his intentional penis grabbing in games and nut shots that he does. I'm like, geez, this guy's dirty as hell player. Like he's another freaking Draymond Green type player. Like this guy's just out here nut shotting guys on a regular. This is,
Yeah, it's quite interesting, quite interesting.
Well, you know what they say: if you're anxious to grab the nuts,
There must be something there.
yeah, he
In more
literally
ways
there's a
than one.
clip of him literally like pinching a dude's dick. Like you
It's
could see he's like
stupid.
trying to pinch his. I'm like, dude, like what the hell is wrong with you? Like I understand like people get do stuff like that, do stuff, but why are you trying to pinch his dick or balls or like whatever? What the hell is wrong with you? Like that's just
why is he trying to
way
do it?
uncalled
Why is he
for.
trying to do it? Because he can.
Yeah, brother. Yeah, just so he's played very special so far in the playoffs. I'll say that.
Yeah, because if anybody tried to do that to me on a basketball court, my instant reaction would be to punch you in the face.
Yeah,
Or at least shove you to the ground.
that's
Like you would not
that's
be standing next to me very long.
yeah, that's some dirty ass shit right there. There's no need for that.
You're gonna do this to me? I don't think so. Or
Yeah,
some, or something similar.
I just need
Or something similar.
OKC to win today. That's what I need today.
There you
3:30
go.
OKC, they need to win this series. I think you should be very optimistic, Pat, about your New York Knicks.
Well,
Yeah,
see,
if Jalen Brunson
I
can flop
see.
enough,
You
they'll
just,
definitely win.
I still don't know because it's like they had to make those huge comebacks for the first two games against the Celtics, and then Tatum goes down in Game 4 when they win, and I just figured that was going to take all the wind out of Boston Celtics. But then Boston stomps them in Game 5, so there's
That
still
was
on
the
the inconsistent
overconfidence
side
of
here.
the
So
Knicks thinking that, oh, we can just coast through this game because there's no Jason Tatum.
well, I mean, I don't know if that's what they were doing, but it doesn't come off well. So
I think people misunderstood or didn't give Indiana a chance just because of how great of a season the Cavs had, which they did. But and the same aspect, like I picked Indiana based off of like, listen, this team's pretty much almost the same team as last year. They've made some good upgrades to the team, to make the team better. And don't forget, this team, a lot of these players were on this team last year when they made the Eastern Conference Finals. So it wasn't out of the realm that they could take it to Cleveland. And Cleveland just floundered. They did not take advantage of the opportunities when they need to, and Indiana did. I mean, that's some of that's experience from being consistently in the playoffs or whatever the case may be. But still, at the same point, Indiana won. The better team won, definitely. So
Yeah.
I'm excited to see the Eastern Conference Finals and the Western Conference Finals.
I almost wonder if
Minnesota,
there's going to be like a bit of a, especially if Oklahoma City doesn't win because you don't have any of the top seeds in
yeah,
either conference.
yeah. And you know what? Here's the other thing too. This is what Adam Silver. What can we stop with the LeBron stuff? Like he makes a comment the other day about the ratings are down because LeBron's not in the playoffs. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Like
Wouldn't it
just
matter?
stop. Have
People
you
aren't
been
watching
paying?
the NBA for LeBron.
Yeah, people. Look, Adam Silver. No offense to you, but have you noticed that your ratings have been down the whole fucking season? Like this just isn't a LeBron thing. This is an NBA whole situation. This is an NBA and together in its whole that ratings are down. Attendance has been down for certain teams as well. So it's not just because LeBron's not in the playoffs. There's other stars that people care about. Let's be honest here.
Yeah.
So it just you don't have your typical like Curry's out of the playoffs now, LeBron's out of the playoffs now. It is what it is.
Yeah, those guys are getting older. Like
You
I don't
got
expect
the
to see
young
those
teams,
teams
you
in
know
the
what I mean?
NBA in the
I mean,
playoffs right now.
you got the younger teams that have good core, good nucleus, and that's what you have right now. So
The
there's
biggest the biggest difference between like the 90s and now as far as NBA teams go is your star players are lasting longer. They're having longer careers. So this expectation of them to be able to be in the playoffs and continue to bring those ratings is unrealistic. Like you're
Mhm.
gonna have younger talent that comes into the NBA or any sport is going to start taking over and having, I don't want to say dominance, but
But
years of
they're having
flashy years where they're going to be the team to watch. And
yeah.
it's not going to be the Golden State Warriors or the Lakers or whoever else. You're going to have those teams get eliminated because the young talent is able to outlast them. Sorry, LeBron is old. I don't give a shit what anybody says. Oh, he looks so good. Yeah, he's 40 years old. And he doesn't play half the game because he sits back and just doesn't play defense, or he takes rest breaks because he flops on the floor and it's like that's his rest break for that period of time. Instead of going out of the game, he takes a rest on the floor pretending he's hurt.
Yeah, his
You know,
stats still look good because your stats are inflated due to the fact that you play in a league that's not defensive. It's
yeah,
situational
you
defense.
know,
Of course, your stats
and
are going to be inflated.
Curry's what 37, I think, somewhere in there.
36, something like that.
You know,
Yeah.
so he's older too. You know, he's not 40, but he's still older. Teams are he's slower than he was. That's what helped him a lot. He was able to speed around those screens. There's other teams that are faster than him now. They have faster players. They can outrun him now. His ability to get around those screens, and teams have finally figured out ways to negate that screen and shoot, that he's used to
Yeah.
coming off
And
of.
that's just the point of, those older players being on teams that have a nucleus that's going to still help them get to where they need to go. So, who knows if either one of them will ever win another NBA title? Maybe, maybe not. Who knows?
Yeah,
But
the only reason that I'm sorry, go ahead, continue.
no, no, you're good. You're good.
The reason that people like, you could look at the last year that Duncan and them and the Spurs won their NBA championship. Like, yeah, those guys are older. Yeah, they were. They also played a different type of basketball. They didn't
Mhm.
play speed up basketball. They had guys that could run. Tony Parker could run.
Manu
Kawhi
Ginobili.
Leonard, Kawhi Leonard was on that team. Uh, and, but they played a slow tempo basketball, which people hated. The Spurs are so boring to watch. Yeah,
So they were
but they were
winning.
able to beat teams because they slowed it down. They played to their strength and took away the strength of the other team.
Yep.
That's the only reason that team. That's the big reason why that team at the core age of what that team was able to win an NBA championship against younger teams.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And nowadays, like like watching the playoffs, it's frustrating to see teams blow 15, 20, 25 point leads. But the reason is because the teams who get up by such big amounts, big points, they're still jacking up threes. And then they start missing those threes. And then the other team starts making those threes. And then they do a little, you know, star players drive to the hole and get fouled for and ones or go to the cherry stripe to get the the free throws. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's frustrating watching teams up by 20 plus points and just give up a lead in like 3 minutes. It's astronomical. Like how the coaching styles have changed where you're up by that much. Why are you still jacking up threes? Your team's missing them all. Start driving to the hole. Start doing something
Well, and
different.
that's the difference between the NBA and college. In college, you got to listen to your coach. You don't listen to your coach, you're not playing.
Yeah, I mean they shoot a lot more threes in college now as well, but still you don't see a team like up by 20 points still jacking up threes on a consistent basis. They're like they're slowing it down. They're playing half court ball. They're hitting mid-range jumpers or driving to the hole trying to get the and one or the foul or whatever, but they're doing the basic basketball skills you should be
Yeah,
doing at that point.
You know why they're
you
jacking
can't
up
tell
all those
NBA
threes?
players that. Was that?
You know why they're jacking up all those threes? They gotta get their shit in.
It's
Seriously, that's the equivalent of like indie-minded wrestlers who are like, oh, I gotta get my shit on. I gotta do all my moves. I gotta do all my moves, even though there's only 300 people in the audience. I gotta do this move that I could break my neck on. That's it's the same mentality.
That's
it is,
that's a pretty decent analogy there, Pat.
and it's unfortunate because if you're a coach in the NBA, you can put it in your scheme and blah 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 and all this stuff. But ultimately, NBA players don't have to follow a damn thing you say. They can do whatever the hell they want, and they're not going to be held accountable for it because I'm a paid professional. The day and age of the Phil Jacksons and stuff like that that could really, Pat Riley, that could really get a team to play as a team and commit to a game plan and improvise when needed, but stick to the game plan of what their strategy was. Those days are gone. Like NBA players, yeah, they might run an offensive set, but it's pretty much a green light for anybody to shoot a three or to go ISO on any given play. There is no red or yellow lights anymore. It is a green light for everything.
Oh yeah, just just go ahead. And it drives me crazy. Like I see like everything is a high screen, high pick and roll, drive, kick out, high pick and roll, drive, kick out. And these guys are driving to the hole and they're 2 feet away, but they're not going for the layup. They're jumping in the air and they're like turning their body and passing it out for a three. It's just
Mm-hmm.
it's like 98% of the time. That's what I see.
That's like one of the dumbest things ever too. It's like, oh, I'm driving up the ball, I'm in the air, going up for the easy layup and everything. Oh, let me just kick it out for the three.
Yep. No. If it's even partly contested, no taking. No taking. It's got to be wide open. wide open.
Yeah, and they don't like any time of being contested for going for a layup. There's like only a handful of players that do it in certain situations. Even the star players sometimes don't do it. They're going and they have like two guys that collapse on them. They're not fully committed to the layup. They're just throwing it out for the three. And it's like, damn, like really? Like the fuck? Listen, I watch it, but it's hard to watch. I just maybe it's the old school in me, but I just think it's the fundamentals. Like I know things change and the game evolves, but come on, man. We're shooting this many fucking three pointers. Like just for instance, what was the game? Um, Boston broke the record for the worst shooting percentage or the most missed three pointers in a game. They were 15 for 60.
Yeah, it was game one
15
against
for
the Knicks.
60. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Oof. Like that's just
And
that's
that's the sad thing. Like you listen to new school analysts compared to an old school analyst, or even new player to old player. You know, like oh they couldn't shoot back then. They weren't shooting threes. They didn't shoot threes at a high percentage. You know, they weren't taking them out of three. Well, yeah, because the game was different. Like it was a different animal. Like the three was an elite shot, and
it was more situational. It
you
wasn't
had good 3-point shooters on teams, but they were limited in the amount of threes that they could take. But if you look at their percentages, you don't think if they continued to take more, like they wouldn't continue to have the same percentages. Like, oh, these guys they weren't really good shooters like Steph Curry and these guys. That's a bunch of baloney. You can't say just because they only averaged three threes a game that they weren't good shooters. If they're still shooting 33%, okay, now you take six and now you're making what, two or three? You know, that's just stupid thinking. Like statistics show in the long run, if you are able to be consistent in hitting 33%, if you take more, you're going to make the same amount of shots. Like you're not going to all of a sudden start missing 75% of your shots just because you took more. Like your percentage usually stays the same. So
yeah.
it's always been such a dumb argument.
Oh, of course. Absolutely. 100%. 100%. But yeah, Pat, you should be optimistic. Your team is in the Eastern Conference Finals while my team's sitting at home. So yes, you should be good.
Out of all the teams that I could say that I root for, the Knicks are the only one in my lifetime who haven't won a championship. You know, the Yankees have, the Giants have, the Rangers even have. And then you look at college, Penn State football, even though I was young when it happened last time, North Carolina basketball. And even if you want to throw Notre Dame football in there, which is kind of, yeah, because when they won their last national championship, I was not a fan. But like the Knicks are the only one who have never won, right? And they've only made the finals twice in my life. And one time they were there on a fluke. It was the strike year when they lost to the Spurs. And then there was the heartbreak against the Rockets because John Starks decided he couldn't remember how to shoot a fucking basketball. You know.
Good
So
old John Starks.
I don't know. It's just I'm just accustomed to disappointment with the Knicks, so I'm just not gonna get my hopes up. The thing of it is too is like and like AJ and I have these conversations all the time. I just don't follow basketball, NBA the way I did like back in the '90s and to the early 2000s. Like it's getting to the point where I feel like wrestling's starting to get for me too, where I feel like it's passing me by, so it's like it just doesn't hold my interest. So it's like, yes, do I want the Knicks to win? Yes. Like, am I gonna go like out of my mind if they do win? Not really. Like I won't even go out and like buy like, Knicks NBA champion stuff because I'll feel like a hypocrite considering I haven't really watched or followed beyond, oh, let's
Mhm.
see what they did last night. Oh, they won? Great. You know.
Valid. I understand.
So
I get it. I get it.
All right. Well, since we've had Pat's weigh in on the Knicks and their chances and his excitement about them possibly winning, I would say this is a good point to stop the show.
Oh, we're
What do you
stopping.
say, bros?
Stop it.
I say I don't understand why they renamed Jeff Cobb.
Yeah, I know.
I
I'm
guess to give him a
disappointed.
name that sounds slightly Samoan.
Oh, what did they rename him? I didn't hear this.
JC Mateo.
And they had to pick
After they just
Mateo.
called him Cobb
After they
in
called
the
him Jeff
last.
Cobb when he showed up at Backlash, yeah.
And
I
let's give
know
him.
that
Good job,
really
WWE.
that really infuriated the fuck out of me. It's like if you were going to call him JC Mateo, why did they call him Jeff Cobb?
Um,
Gosh.
the other thing, why are we using the name Mateo?
It's not
Because
Samoan that I know of.
well, look at the other aspect. I'm talking about the football aspect. Mateo, the Notre Dame linebacker who got
Monte Teo?
yeah. It sounds similar.
Monte
That's-
Teo is also Hawaiian, so
So
anyway.
Anyway, good job, WWE. And we'll end on that note because it ends with a good laugh.
Hey, but Saturday night's main event next Saturday.
oh, we get John Cena versus R-Truth.
Well, yeah, but look, I kind of get that,
So do I.
but just like the other stuff that's on the card actually looks semi-interesting. Like I'm like,
It does.
I know John Cena's not losing, but I think like it's like something that'll be worth checking out,
Ooh,
essentially.
we should go live for Saturday night's main event.
If you want to, I should be available.
We
I
could
mean,
do
they
that.
still stream it through Peacock too, right?
I think so.
I believe
If
so,
they
yes.
stream it live through Peacock, then yeah, I can see it. So
So, folks, we may be live for Saturday night's main event. I almost said Saturday night's live event.
hey, Saturday Night Live had their 50th season finale last night.
I get it.
Nobody watched it.
That's not true. I'm sure people watched it.
Yeah, they
I'm sure
watched
they
it.
did.
Yeah.
ScarJo was hosting. I'm sure she brought in some viewers.
Of course she
Who?
did.
Scarlett
Yeah, I
Johansson.
said, oh, Scarlett Johansson. You said Scargio. I'm like,
I said
who?
ScarJo.
Yeah, that sounded like a mythical creature.
She had to, even though the movie still
It's
doesn't
the
come out.
Scarjo.
Even though the movie still doesn't come out for, I think it's like 2 months. She had to make sure people knew that she's in the new Jurassic, whatever they're calling it, movie. Oh, they are calling it Jurassic World Rebirth. So yeah, that comes out July 4th weekend.
Ugh. Don't get me wrong. I did like the ones with Chris Pratt,
Right?
but they didn't need to keep going with them. They could have just killed that series.
Yeah, the Jurassic World trilogy, it definitely went as it went. But I don't know. It looks like they're going to do some very different things with this one, so it could be interesting.
We'll find out.
All right. Well,
All
folks,
right, I'll let you finally sign off now. But before you do that,
let's do the do. Well, thank you everybody for watching. We appreciate it. We really do these things for you guys. I mean, don't get me wrong. We love to talk to each other, but we do it for your entertainment too. So hopefully you were entertained and hopefully you finished with us.